Well, hello again everyone, and welcome to another tutorial in my How to Draw Folk Art Animals of the World series. Before we start, of course, if you could subscribe, that would be fabulous. Thank you very much. And also, remember to ring that little bell icon. Okay, well, the folk art animal I'm going to be drawing today is a lemur, and it's from Mexico. A Mexican Oaxacan folk art lemur. Now, the Oaxacan area is very famous for creating vibrant, fantastical Mexican folk art sculptures. This is a drawing of a lemur, and as you'll see, it's going to be quite colourful. It's quite simple, and you start off with a nice big long curve like that, flattish curve, and coming out of that we have the two ears, nice and fat, longish with a curved top like that. Okay, and that comes down and then a nice little curve into the nose of the animal. Nice big round, see that? It's a flattened kind of oval like that. Come down to the nose shape, and the nose shape appears kind of in here like that. Okay, and very typical of these drawings, these eye creations, if you like, are very large eyes. So over here, we draw a large eye there, another one here, and they are accentuated by lines going around following the shape of the eyes like that. Another one coming in here. Just doing this roughly just now. I'm going to go over it in pen later on to sharpen everything up. And another one here. Now these creations are usually decorated in the shapes of the head and the body, and so I'll put that on later. Okay, so that's a rough head shape there. You've got a little line here. Now as you come down, you have a line coming just from here, curving in down to the body shape, but we have little arms appearing. It's kind of looking sideways at you. So you have one arm just below the nose here, beginning almost like an elbow shape coming down, very broad at the top, getting narrower down to the little paw there. Another little arm appears behind it there, coming in like that. Okay. Now the back of the animal, let's say this curves down here. The back of the animal starts about here and parallel with that, and it curves down to there to the haunches, right down, or I'll flatten that a bit more, and the haunches kind of come up in that kind of egg shape there, like that, see that? And then you carry on with the front of the animal coming in there. And its tail, of course, is going to curl out from here, so from about here, just below the top of the haunch, you have your tail beginning to come out and carving a great big curve up here, like that. Okay, and then we draw the feet coming out from here, just almost flat from there, coming out. And there's that kind of shape, but of course, when you actually draw them, you put in the details of the claws. So you have one coming in there, another one coming in here, another coming in here, and a little one coming in there like that, okay? And the same with that one there. You have one coming in there, another one going behind it, disappearing there. And the same, of course, with the little paws and the hands, if you like, you know. You get these little nail shapes coming in like that. Now, as I said, there's decorations on the surface here, and around the ears, what you have is you have a kind of doubling up with another colour, and then you have these lines going around the ear shape all around there, and then all around here, like that. And on the head, you have lines of little short lines like that, parallel lines following each other. So you start off with a top line like that, then you would do another line, kind of following that, down to the next line, and so on. And you're kind of following the curve of the face, see that? You would follow that around the eye. Same with the nose, only there are more like dots on the nose, see, two lines of dots there. But on the front and the paw of the animal, you'll get these lines again, kind of following the shape of the animal's arm, like that, and so on. Same with the body. You'll get these kind of parallel lines coming around and curves like that, accentuating the actual shape of the lemur. Okay, and on the tail, kind of stripes that are coloured black and white. So you get that coming in there. It's again following the curve of the tail, like that. Okay, and the haunch, of course, as well. You're following this line coming down here, like that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is to get a pen, and I'm going to go over these lines, sharpen everything up. I'm going to use a pen which, of course, is indelible, if you like. That's the it's not going to bleed when you use your colours. So make sure it's permanent. That's another word for it. Okay, so I'm going to start with the pen. Right, okay, as you can see, I have to outline the shape, the outside shape at the moment, and I'm going to run it very carefully like that. Okay, and you notice that I'm not going to draw these little pattern shapes in black because they are done with colour. So I'm just going to do the outside shape just now, like that. Outline it like that. That will come around to there. Okay, and a top like that. I say even these little dots here, they're in colour. So I'm just going to continue to outline it, and let's see how it looks when I've done that. Okay. Okay, as you can see, I've outlined the whole shape now, and I've outlined these shapes in black because they are going to be coloured in black. Okay, the same with the eyes, they will be black. But all these other little patterns I put on are in colour. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to actually rub, once this all dries properly, I'm going to rub down, so these are just barely discernible. Because I don't want any of these pencil lines rubbing through onto the colours that I use. As long as I can just see where they're going to go. Okay, so right, I'll rub that down, and then I'll show you the colours I'm going to use. Okay, as you can see, I've cleaned that up, and now I can just barely see the little marks where the little details are going to be. Okay, so the colours I'm going to use are kind of orangey red, yellow, warm yellow, pale blue, purple, and a dark blue. Okay, I'm going to start off with this warm yellow colour, and the ears are that colour. So carefully I would fill that in. I'm using a brush tip pen like that. I would fill that in like that, and the other ear as well. Also the little tip of the lemur's nose, that goes in there, and that's all for the yellow. Okay, so I'll just finish this and we'll move on to the next one. Okay, well, the next colour I'm going to use is red, and that actually is for the whole body. Or down to there, not the tail, it's black and white. Okay, first of all, I'm going to draw around the outside shape, the far outside shape of the eyes, just to differentiate where the red will stop. Like that. So we'll colour up to that line, like that. So fill all that in, like that. I'll go to the brush tip now. So as I said, the whole of the body, the head, is coloured with this red colour. But see how it's quite easy to do around the eyes once you've outlined them, like that. Okay, so let me finish that and we'll see how it looks. Okay, well, that's the red done, and the next colour is this purpley colour. Okay, and the feet are that colour. So we'll just fill that in carefully like that. And the other one. Oh, I forgot to do the bottom half of the little paws, but I'll just go over with the purple, and that will give you the idea. It fills in there. And the other one, which is just in here like that. Okay, so once I've finished that, we can move on to the next colour, which is a pale blue. Okay, move to the pale blue now, and there are two places where we have the pale blue. One is on top of the nose here, and also the ring round the outside ring around the eyes there. Okay, so I just take here, brush it, start off, and just carefully go around the outer ring like that, all the way around, and then fill in this shape here, like that. Okay. Right, we'll carry on with that. The blue's finished, but I have to backtrack slightly because when I was doing the yellow, I forgot that yellow also appears around the inside of the eye here, around the black shape. So basically, again, if you take your brush tip and just carefully go around that, around the shape, so you leave a white space between the blue and the yellow. Do that on both eyes. Okay, now I've done that, I can finish off where I started way back at the beginning with the black. So we fill in the eyes, the centre of the eyes black like that. And also black and white at the tail. So we start with white and black. White, black, white, black, white, black. Okay, so I'm going to fill that in and we'll have a look at it when I've done it. Okay, that's a black finish now. Now what I want to do is to protect that with a bit of paper. I'm going to use a dark blue because that's used for all of those little marks that I suggested right at the beginning. Remember those little lines, short lines that I did following the shape of the animal. Okay, so we'll start off with the ear, and you kind of follow the shape, start like that. Almost like stitching, you know, come around like that. And down to there, and then on this one too. Like that. And then we move to the actual head. And remember, the lines follow the curve at the top. So we start off with a row of lines. You don't have to have them too close together, like that. Just carefully following that curve, stopping there, and then another line below that. And that will continue down here. And on the actual nose shape, you have a little line coming around to separate the yellow and the blue. And you have two lines of, not lines, but dots coming in like that. Okay, and as you come down here, there is a fine dark line around the outside of the pale blue. You can put that in as well. All the way around there. Okay, so I'm going to carry on with this, putting in these little shapes like that, all down the front here, again following the curve of the nose. And as it comes down, you find the lines will go around the eye shape like that, following that, kind of emphasizing it actually, as it comes around like that. And then of course, as you go down to the limbs, you have the curve shape, so you get the, imagine a curve like that, so the lines will follow that kind of curve going up. Okay, so I'm going to carry on with that, and we'll have a look at it when I've done all these little marks. Okay. Okay, well that's my Mexican folk art lemur finished. I hope you enjoyed that. The whole group of fantastic animals that I described at the beginning are known as alebrijes. I hope I got that right. And they are a very popular symbol of Mexican culture and artistic expression. It only started in the 1940s, but yes, it's very important. Anyway, as I said, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you can join me again for another tutorial. But in the meantime, of course, all the best and happy drawing!